Hi everyone, so a few weeks back now I did a live stream and I made this, which was called a 5x7 book style card, and basically when you open it up you've got this kind of like book fold thing. So this was the first one I made. I'm still waiting to put a sentiment on the front of it and on the inside. I used my Cacti Crazy papers, digital papers for this, which you can get over on my Etsy store. So there'll be a little thing up on the screen about it, and the link will be in the description below. But when I did this one, I didn't like the fact that these tabs, the supporting thing that makes these bits pop up, you can see it from the top. So when I actually did my live stream, I did it slightly differently. So I used my Diantha Streams paper pack, which again is also available over on my Etsy store. This is actually a Tonic die, and then these little stars were actually peel-offs along with the sentiments inside. So I've got a little Make-A-Wish sentiment and some little stars. That's just from, I think it was Paper Mania. It was a Do Craft one anyway. But with this one, as you can see from the top, you can't really see the mechanism. So I made it pink because this paper's a lot of pink, so it kind of disappear a little bit. And I also made it smaller. And I prefer it like that because then when it's stood up on your mantelpiece, the angle that you're looking at, the angle that I'm looking at now, I can't see the mechanism, and I like it because it looks like it's floating. You've got space on the back to write. If you want to, you can put a matte and then a white piece on the back. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, so that's that one. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need a 5x7 card blank. If you don't have a 5x7 card blank, you just need a piece of card that is 7 inches by 10 inches, and along the 10-inch edge you're going to score halfway at 5 inches, and then that will make a 5x7 card blank. So that can go to one side. You're also going to need 2 base pieces that are 4x6, and you also need 2 base pieces that are 4x4. If you find, like me, that you don't have base pieces that are exactly 4x4, so this one here is 4x4, but this one here is 3 3/8 by 4. It's fine as long as you've got one edge that is 4 and one edge that is more or less 4. That's fine, because all it means is this bit here will be the height, so it will just be a little bit shorter. So this is the mechanism that makes them pop up. So we're going to score these now, so don't worry too much. So I'll just show you now how it doesn't really matter. So I'm putting it on along the 4-inch edge because that's the edge we're going to score at, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, and at 1.5 inch, and then we're going to turn it round, and on the other end we're going to score at 1/2. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with this one. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, turn it round, and on the other edge we're going to score at 1/2 inch. So as you can see, they're identical score lines, and all it means is one is just slightly smaller than the other, but it's really not going to matter when it's inside the card. So if you find, like me, that's the problem, then just do what I've done. It doesn't matter. So then what we want to do is go ahead and fold these. So start with the, we'll do it the way we've just scored it. So you've got 1/2, 1, 1.5. So you want to go mountain, valley, mountain, mountain. And the same on this one. So you end up with 2 pieces that look like that. So we're going to go ahead now and add some red tape. So you're going to add tape to this tab here and also this tab here, and you can do that on both pieces. Okay, so now we've done both pieces. I'm just going to put those to one side. We'll come back to those in a minute. If we bring back our card blank, so on the front of your card blank you want a piece of matte. In fact, you're going to need 3 in total. So you're going to need 3 mats that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and 3 pattern pieces that are 4.5 by 6.5. So you're going to have 1 on the front and then 2 on the inside. Now, if you're wondering where these papers are from, these are from Antonio Makes. They are absolutely beautiful. These are part of his July VIP kit. So you can only get them if you become a VIP member, and if you become a VIP member in July. Okay, if you leave it till August, you won't be able to get them. So after August, they won't be available. So you just need to make sure you go over to www.antoniomakes.com, use my code Louise10, and that will get you 10% off everything on the site, but also it'll get you 10% off your VIP membership. So instead of being £45 for the year, it will be £40 and 50 pence. And for that, you get 2 kits a month. And there are lots of other perks as well. I'll put them up on the screen as I'm talking. But yeah, as you can see, they are beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So this, the 2 kits that he had out for July for the VIPs, this one is Alice in Flowerland. And this one here is Feathers in Flora. And I love the watercolour look anyway. And I really like this. I'm going to use this again on the little, bits that stick up as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick these down. Okay, so we've done that. So a little side note as well, just to bear in mind, don't go too thick with your papers and your mats. So the base card I'm using here is 250. This matte card is that Dovecraft mixed colour card pack. I keep using it because it is just so wonderful. So it's this one. As you can see, I've used it lots. So I'm using the pinks one. I'm using this beautiful hot pink. I used one of these, I think it was this one I used on that cacti card. And on my own, on the butterfly one, again, I used this deep pink. I'm using this pack loads, as you can see, because it's just really nice. It's 180 GSM, so it's perfect for matting, especially for this kind of thing. And then the papers themselves are, I think I printed this off on 80 GSM or 100 GSM card. It might have been, it was either 80 or 120, I can't remember, but it's not that much anyway, quite thin. So then, but already I'm starting to get a bit of a wodge. That's already feeling quite sturdy. And we're about to add more layers in. So yeah, don't go too thick because it does end up being quite a wodgy card. Okay, so we've done that. So now what we want to do is we're going to bring in 2 more pieces so I'm going to put this to one side, and we're going to bring in 2 more base pieces, which are the 4x6s. Now these 4x6s, if you're going to do it like I did on my other card, so you're going to do it like this, just a normal rectangle, nothing fancy, then what you will need is, you will need 2 mats that are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 patterns that are 3.5 by 5.5. However, I'm going to be doing a cut edge on my mat and my base. And the reason I'm doing that is just because I just wanted to do something a bit different and show you a different way of doing it. Because I did in my sample, and I can't show you it because it's just off to one side, stuck in my book, but I did actually border punch this edge, and it looks really nice. So I wanted to do one with a border punched edge. So as I said, if you want to just do it plain like this, you don't want any border punch edges, then the sizes I've just given you is what you need. If you want a border punch, then just I would cut it out to be 4x6, and then from that, just work out the depth of your border punch, whatever it's going to be. So I'm going to be using these Tonic dies, the ones I used on the front here, this birthday wishes, and I'm going to cut out of the pink mat, I'm going to cut the words, and then out of the base itself, I'm going to cut the outline, and then the pattern will just be a plain rectangle. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've tried to make sure that I have cut it accordingly. However, obviously, it depends on what size your dies are. So I have got, for that reason, I have got a piece of mat that is that size, that is the 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. But the pattern I've cut down to be 3 inches by 5.5. Because I worked out that's I might have to trim a bit more of it, but that's roughly how much space I'm going to need there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my greetings out of my matte card, and then I will be back with you in a minute. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut them. Now, one thing I forgot to do was put double-sided tape behind the letters, so that then they don't sort of stand out. But I don't mind them sticking out like that, because they give them a bit of, it gives them a bit of a 3D-ness. I could go ahead and just put some like tacky glue or something behind them, just, to make them pop. But anyway, I'm going to have that one on that side and Happy Birthday on the other. And I've realised that this pattern paper is just a little bit too wide, so that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut a little bit off, just so that then it fits with a nice border around the outside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and stick all of that down because that all now fits really nicely. It's actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to stick all this down. I might add a little bit of tacky glue just onto those letters, just so that then we don't end up with them getting caught, because that's one thing I'm concerned. I don't want them getting caught and sort of tearing off. Okay, so that's what you end up with, and that has turned out way better than I ever imagined it would, I have to say. I just think with the butterflies and the pink and the border edges, it looks like something you'd buy. Like, I'm blown away by it. So there we go. Right, let's bring our card back in. So what we need to do now is bring our little strutty pieces in, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take one, and for each of these you want the single fold, so not the concertina end, you want just the single fold to be on the middle piece, so where your middle of your card is going to be. So imagine these two panels together. This middle piece here is where you're going to have your single fold, and your concertina is going to be on the outside, so that one will go that way around and this one will go this way around. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to deal with this one first. So this is the middle, and I'm going to flip it like that so this stays on the middle. If I flip it the other way, I might get confused. So we're just going to take off the backing off of this. I'm going to take it partially off, and I'm just going to fold it over like that. Now what we want to do is we're going to stick it on here, and you want to make it pretty much central, and you want to make sure that your folded edge lines up with that inner edge of your base card. So you're going to end up with that. So this bit's still free floating, so that's the right way up, and as you can see this is here and that's all there. So then we can go ahead and peel the backing off here, and again I'm just going to partially peel it. Ooh, it wants to go back, it doesn't want to come off, it's like no. Okay, so we're going to partially peel it like that, and then you want to fold your concertina flat and then stick that down like that. So you end up with a panel like that. And if I put this way up, hopefully you can see you've got like an arrow, but it's arrowing into the middle. Okay, so you're going to do the same with this one, but it's going to be the opposite way round. So this time you're going to have it arrowing this way. So we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to take the backing off of the single tab like that. And then I'm going to line that folded edge up with the inside line, and I'm going to make sure again it's as central as we can make it. So I'm going to put it about there. Don't go over that edge with your fold line. Okay, so your crease line, you don't want to make it go over the edge. I think mine might have slightly gone over. Oh no, it's okay. You literally want it to butt up, if anything, to be 1 millimeter in the card, but you don't want it to go over. And then we're going to take the backing off this, and I'm going to just peel the whole thing off this time because it's such a small tab anyway. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold that flat again and stick that whole lot down. So there again you've got the arrow facing in, and that's the middle section. So now what we're going to do is you can either use wet glue or you can use red tape, depending on what you want. I'm going to go ahead and use, I think I'm going to use wet glue for this, risking it a little bit because I've got printed paper. I'm going to use wet glue. So you want to put either red tape or wet glue on this whole section here. Okay, so there's some wet glue, and then what you want to do is take your panel, take your card, make sure you go the right way around, and then this is going to go bang slap in the middle. So you want to make sure your top and bottom, your left and right, you've got a nice even border around all of it. Okay, so that's how it ends up. So you've got a nice even border all the way around. Obviously this edge is a little bit odd, but it's still pretty much right, and that's how it pops up. And the other thing as well I want to notice that I mentioned, and I know I said you had to use thin layers, but you want to use about a 240, I would say, for this pop-up mechanism. If you go too thin, what happens is when it's been in the envelope, it then doesn't pop quite so much when you open the card. I mean, you don't want to go too thick because otherwise it's going to be really chunky when you open the card, but you want to find that nice sweet kind of in between area. And then this one we're going to do the same again. So I'm just going to turn it over. I'm going to add some glue onto this whole section here. And again, you could use red tape if you want to, or another strong glue or whatever. And we're going to do the same again. So we're going to put this, and I've now got a bit of a guide, so I know roughly where it needs to be. So it's going to be about there, I would say. Yep. So we're going to do that like that. Press that down, and then there you have your card. And all you need to do is just finish off decorating the front, and then obviously put some on the back. So as you can see, I've used white here, and you can sort of see it because it's quite patterned, but it's not too bad, because when it actually stands up, because it's not, you know, the full length of the full height, it doesn't really show when you've just got it stood in your desk. But yeah, so that is that. So I'm going to finish off the front of the card, and I will come back to you in a moment. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out a happy birthday die. I did the pink letters on the white because that's the same as what I've got on the inside. So I'm going to go and put this on with pads, and then I'm just going to stick a few gems on. And I'm using these soft fuchsia mixed pearls from Lucy's shop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so there's the finished card. So I don't want to overdo it. I think if I had some butterflies that was similar kind of style, I probably would have fussy cut them out. But yeah, the real thing is in the inside. And I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. I definitely prefer the punched edges or the die cut edges to having a straight edge. But yeah, so hopefully you liked today's video. And obviously you're going to be asking me, where can you write? Well, you can write on the back. So if you want to put a mat on the back and then a white piece, you can do that on the back there. Yeah. So there we have it. So please head over to www.antoniomakes.com. Use my code Louise10 to get yourself 10% off. And also you can have a look at Lucy's shop. I don't have any code. I'm not on commission for them or anything like that. I just really like her pearls, and she's a small business, so I really want to promote her. So I will link those pearls if she still has them, because she does rotate. But go and have a look in the shop anyway, because she has some wonderful things. These were Tonic dies. I can't remember. I think this was a Crafter's Companion one. I'll see if I can still find it, but it's quite an old one, so it might not still be available. But yeah, and head over and do the whole VIP kit for Antonio Makes. So like and comment down below. Subscribe, please, to my channel. That would be wonderful. It really helps me out. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. And we'll see you next time. Bye.